You're listening to the Oklahoma Onstage podcast, where we sit down with people from the bustling theater scene in the great state of Oklahoma. We hope you enjoy your time with us. If you do, please share the podcast with those you know. If you'd like to know more about who we are and what we do, visit us on Facebook or Instagram, or go to our website, oklahomaonstage.org. Now hang on to your hat. We're starting another episode right now.
Welcome back, everybody, to Oklahoma On Stage. As always, I'm Tim, your host. Today, we are out in the lobby, about as far west as you can possibly go as far as theater goes in the state of Oklahoma. In western Oklahoma, where the wind sweeps across the plains and the sunsets look like they are painted by a theater lighting designer, there is a stage that's been telling stories for more than half a century. Red Carpet Community Theater, a cornerstone of Elk City's arts community, has survived changing times, changing audiences, and changing generations. At the heart of its present and future are two women who have poured their time, talent, and passion into keeping the curtain rising. Today, we are sitting down with the board president and board secretary of Red Carpet Community Theater, two leaders, performers, and advocates shaping the next chapter of this historic theater. Oklahoma On Stage family, please join me in welcoming Christy Russell Dobbs and Ashley Underwood to the podcast. Welcome, ladies.
Hello. We sound so good. I like it. I want you to introduce me to everybody.
I try to butter everybody up.
Yeah.
So that I get the best answers as we go.
Toss, yeah.
Right? Okay, so first, and I love to start with this question because it's really kind of the one that affects us all. And you guys can take turns answering this. How did you first get involved with theater?
So in 1989, which is a few years ago, I was born that year. Yeah, I was working at the radio station here in Elk City, Oklahoma, and was a little disenfranchised with what was going on here, as being a young person at that time, and just was not having a good time. And we got a PSA, public service announcement that we would put out about things that were going on in the community. And one of them was a show here at Red Carpet Community Theater, and it was called Who's On First? And one of the other people that worked at the radio station invited me to come down and audition. So, I was like, why not? And I auditioned and got a part. And, that moment with the audience, after all that work that we did and the fun that we had putting the show together. But I know the moment that the audience responded to me performing on stage set the hook. And it's a love affair. It's been a love affair for me with community theater ever since. And I can't get enough of it. I can't imagine my life without it. And that's what has gotten me here. I took a few years off when I had children when they were little, but when they were old enough to get on stage, they grew up on this theater stage.
Nice.
And their dad, who I happened to have met during that show, he grew up on this stage too. So, it was just in their blood. you know.
So this theater is a family thing for you.
It is. I go back all the way back to some of those books in like 1966. And I have aunts, twin aunts. We call them the sissies. And their names are in that book from the beginning. And so, yeah, we go way back.
Ashley, what about you? How did the bug bite you?
My roots are not quite as deep, but I was in college at SWASU in Weatherford, and one of my friends, Jared Deck, he texted me, and he said, "Hey, I'm music directing this show. You're in town at SWASU, and you're going to audition." And I said, "No, I'm certainly not going to do that." He said, "No, you're going to audition." And I said, "No, I don't have time." And he said, "Well, then you're going to play the piano for it. You're going to be the accompanist." And I was like, "No, that's even more time. Like, I'm not going to do that." And so he said, "Okay, well, then your audition is at this time, whatever, 7:30 or something." And I was like, "Oh gosh." And for whatever reason, I decided to show up, and I went and I auditioned for You're in Town at SWASU, and I was part of the chorus, and it was so fun. And there was this one moment and our director was incredibly supportive of so many things, and he told us, that we could do a little bit of improvising and things like that. And I'd never been on stage before in my life, really. And I get up there, and there's this moment where the lead woman character stands up, and she comes out of all of these ropes and things. And I said, "Who tied the knots?" which is not in the script. And the audience laughed at me. And it was just like this moment where I was like, "Oh, I'm funny." And there were some other things that happened. Christy actually saw me in that show.
I did.
She remembers me.
I do remember.
Because I made a choice in the opening number. Because I was one of the people that paid to use, for those of you that don't know the story of You're in Town, it's in this kind of dystopian society. There's a drought, and you have to pay to go use the bathroom. Okay. And I was one of those lucky people that was on stage during the opening number where I paid, and I walked into that stall, and there's a little curtain my face is still showing, and I made a choice to make it look like I saved it all for that moment. And she says that she remembers me from that. She didn't meet me until years after that.
Yeah.
And the woman who was playing, the young girl who was playing Pennywise, Miss Penny, she comes up to me later, and she says, "What are you doing in there?" And I was like, I'm looking like I'm, using the bathroom." And she goes, "Well, you must be really funny." And she kind of was mad at me, I think, because I was taking away focus, but no one had told me to not do it.
Right.
But I started doing community theater a couple of years later. I ran into, I'd done some ushering at Southwest Playhouse in Clinton, and I ran into Jerry Zittercobb in the Clinton post office, and she said, "Hey, there are auditions for West Side Story at Southwest Playhouse, and you should come." And I went, and I was cast, and West Side Story doesn't have a lot of solo parts for women, and I got one of those, and it was just, it was this incredible experience where you meet. That's where Christy and I met officially, was in that show in 2013, and it was an incredible experience with some of my very best friends and people that I have grown to know over the last 13 years, and I'm incredibly grateful. It changed my life doing theater and discovering theater. And now I jumped into the deep end of the pool, and I've never gotten out of it. And I love it.
I think that's kind of a normal storyline for her, that once it bites, you're done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't imagine. I've talked to so many people that have even gotten involved with theater later in life that didn't do it when they were younger or whatever. And it's like, gentleman I know, a friend of mine now, when he first started listening to this podcast, we kind of exchanged stories, and his children got involved, or one child did, then another one, and he thought, well, I guess I can do this too, so I can get involved with my kids. From that moment, I think for a year and a half, he was one show after another without a stop. It was just, it bit, and you get sucked into it, and it's crazy. And I think that's just what theater does for us. So, for those of you that are listening, you can hear the noise in the background. This is a work day here at Red Carpet. They're getting prepared for the children's camp. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so keep that in mind when you hear all that. It's just the noise of theater. So those of you that are part of theater, you understand. So, Ashley, You have one of the most eclectic skill sets that I've ever seen. Law, music, theater, visual arts. How did all of those threads weave into your community experience?
It's really interesting because I would say that so much of the artistic things, so many of the artistic things that I do them because I got involved in theater. I actually did very little painting before I started doing set painting, which Christy actually taught me everything I know, it feels like, about set painting. We were on the set of Wizard of Oz at Southwest Playhouse. Oh, I don't know. It was like 2015 or somewhere around there. And I was helping, and I was doing like the rolling of the walls or like the easy kind of things that, doesn't take a lot of skill. And Christy looked at me and she said, "Do you think you can paint the cornfield?" And I looked at her and I was like, "Do you think I can paint the cornfield?" And she said, "Yes, I do." And I said, "You're going to be here, right?" It's like 3 a.m. at this
so
point.
tired.
It was exhausting. And she says, "Of course I'm going to be here. Where else am I going to go?" Kind of thing. And I painted the cornfield, and it was like this moment where I learned that I could paint a mural, which was cool. And since then I've done, I don't even know how many mural paintings for theater, but I've also taken up doing some of my own personal art with Underwood Art. And my grandmother was an artist, and I'm incredibly inspired by her work. And then, I'm a paralegal at a law firm. I've been doing that basically the same period of time that I have done community theater. And my workplace is incredibly supportive of what I do at the theater. They come to my shows. If I'm like, I really need a day where I can go work on a set, they're like, "Okay, go," and I am incredibly, incredibly lucky and blessed to be working for people who support the things that I do after work. I kind of joke that I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none. I am good at a lot of things, and I don't, and I appreciate that all of those things are useful in this setting. I love light design. It's something that I'm learning a lot about as I go. I love set design. It would probably be my most favorite thing that I do. But I love directing, and I love being on stage, and I sing, and I play piano, and but again, I'm good at a lot of things, and I think it helps me be very well-rounded. And having this experience with my job where I do deal with law, and it helps me be a useful board member, in my opinion, where if we have questions and that I have connections, I can call my boss and I can say, "Hey, like we have a question about XYZ." And he has helped the theater multiple times with issues that we have had, just questions, legal questions that are important. And I think that some theaters don't have that resource. And so I feel incredibly lucky to be able to help with that in particular. So yeah, I do have a rather varied resume, but it's something that I partially have that because I do theater. It has opened a lot of doors and allowed me to see what I am capable of, and also some things that maybe I'm not as good at. But I tell people too, I learned how to build because at the end of the day, when I was directing or when I was helping with a show, you can't always wait on someone to come do it for you. You have to figure it out. And so it's gotten where, of course, you want help building your sets, but if no one else can be there, then I can do it myself.
Yeah, when it comes down to it.
And it helps me be like more efficient in my personal life too. I don't have to wait for somebody to come help fix something for me. I just do it. And don't get me wrong, I'm a great DIYer, and sometimes you'll probably look at it and be like, "Well, that's not right," but it works for me. And so it's been something that has been very beneficial to me as well, in my own life. So it's fun.
I know that in a lot of spaces, they teach, through college and things like that, all the courses on, it's got to be this way or it's got. But I've learned over the years in theater, I don't know if there is a right or wrong way. It's whatever works.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And there is actually a theater organization in the area. It's called Whatever Works Studios. Mm-hmm. And it's just what they do. It's like you make it happen. I've worked with some theaters that have had great budgets, and you can do all kinds of stuff with it. I've also worked with theaters that have no budget, and you just do the best you can with what you got. Yeah. Right. And I think that's what it comes down to for all of us.
Yes.
We want to make magic happen. And sometimes the best magic comes when you don't have the resources.
That's right.
Yes.
I think that, innovation is the mother of invention, right? And so if you look at our stage here at Red Carpet, we have no exit stage right. There's no place to put things. It's a door that leads to the out of doors on a little outside, like kind of like 4x6 area and you go down some stairs. Like there is no place to put anything. And so when you're having to do set design here, you have to be innovative because it is not your regular stage. It is not the stage that the stage directions give you in your script. And Southwest Playhouse is similar in a way because it's an old pig show barn, you know, and so there's no real exit stage right or left at all. It's like an in the round and a thrust had a baby. Like it's this weird arena theater thing, you know, that is kind of weird. And you have to think about, well, if you put everything at the north end, then everybody's necks are going to be craning into the north the whole time and you're going to have a sore neck. But if you put them all in the middle, then you're going to miss a lot of faces. And if you put them all, I mean, you have to be innovative. And so that has been really fun. I mean, we did Play That Goes Wrong at Southwest, and I know we're talking about red carpet, but we did the Play That Goes Wrong at Southwest Playhouse, and you have to look at that stage, which has very specific requirements to do that show, and look at it differently because the stage is different. And you have to do that here at red carpet as well.
Well, you know, and I love that you're talking about that, because one of the things that we are trying to do, you know, with this effort of this podcast is really to promote that community involvement, that brotherhood that we have, and to hear those stories of theaters that work together, theaters that have people that go back and forth and all that. It's just amazing to hear that. And it's kind of one of the things that make all of our stories, especially here in Oklahoma, so unique and so worth listening to. And I love it when I hear of theaters and people that do that, work together with other theaters. It's just amazing, because we don't need to be in competition with each other.
Right. Not,
You know, the stage has a place for everybody, and we need to make sure that they use it. So for both of you, I mean, you all talked about how you kind of got started in this. What led you to be a board member for this theater?
Okay, and this is probably the third time I have sat on the board at Red Carpet Theater. And the first time, of course, I was very young and very naive and big ideas with limited knowledge. You know how that goes. I don't know. It was just they needed people, and I loved it. And give me a reason to show up, and I will be here, because I almost would be here rather anywhere else. And another time, the second time I think I was on the board here, you know, I was just involved, and my kids were involved, and I wanted to be a part of keeping things moving forward. You know, because the city doesn't own this theater, you know, and we do have a lot of help from our city, and we love the city, but you know, we pay our own electric bill here. Yeah. So I just wanted to be a part and help out and keep it going, because I loved it. My kids were in love with it. I saw other people loving it the way that we did. And so I just want to be a part and come up with ideas and be a volunteer to keep it moving forward for us and for everyone else. And that's kind of, we both went, we were on the board at the Playhouse together, and Clinton for a while. And then, of course, you know, all the COVID thing happened. And so when we reopened back here, they were needing board members here. We'd both finished our board terms at Clinton. And so we both came on the board here with that same idea. You know, they needed us.
Well, in this theater, again, because we're completely self-sufficient financially. This COVID and being closed obviously was incredibly detrimental to so many organizations across the entire world. But this theater had, and I mean, it just depleted all of its funds just to keep the lights on. And so we came in, and like 5 or 6 of the board members who had been on that board resigned right there for completely understandable reasons, because it was just like, it's a lot of pressure to have an organization considering shutting down under your watch, right? And so whenever we came on, there was not a lot of money in the bank. And anything that was allocated to the roof, because there were sections of this roof where you could look up from the audience seats and see the sky. Which is nice, right? Uh-huh. Yep. Always a good sign, a little skylight, you know, that we weren't planning on. And so when we came in, you know, we had an incredibly passionate group of people, but not a lot of theater people on that board. They were community members that recognized the value of having a community theater in town, but they weren't theater people necessarily. They came in with a lot of drive and a lot of passion and a lack of knowledge. And I think that we came on as those theater people. We'd been doing theater for quite a while. We had served on boards before and wanted to help save it, And that group of people came in, and we raised over $10,000 on our first fundraiser. And that to me is also just a show of how the community wanted it to stay,
Absolutely.
And we had people come in and donate money and their time, and we did so much work that first year. We got enough donations to put a new roof on this building within 2 years, I think. And it was one of those things where we saw a need and the community saw a need, and they showed up for us. And it's not to say that it's not difficult to maintain a place like this, that we aren't still dependent on our community, because of course we are. But we still have an incredibly passionate group of people who want to see it succeed. And we talk about it all the time. What can we do? How do we adapt? Because you have to adapt. And of course, we have our kids program, which is incredibly wonderful. Bailey Carpenter runs that, and she's amazing with the kids, and she's incredibly creative and does a wonderful job. And we also have to balance that with, hey, we have a lot of adults who want to do theater and maybe push the envelope a little bit. And we've had a really wonderful response from our community and from our actors as well, and trying new things here, which has been really exciting.
It has been, yeah.
Challenging, but exciting. And so it's one of those things where we came on with the hope that we could help. And it's been rewarding to see other people also join us, and we're all doing it together as a team and making it work together. And it's been wonderful. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I think sometimes you get asked to be on a board and you're like, cool, I'll go have lunch once a week and we'll chat about stuff and we'll just kind of figure it out, balance the books a little bit. Nah, we tell people it's a working board. It is a working board. You have to show up. And if you don't have time, it's okay. But don't sign up. We have to have somebody who can show up. And it's and that's just life. And we're incredibly lucky to have the group of people that we have right now. So it's great.
Very cool. Very cool. And again, I love that the mutual connection between the theater and the community. That always shows that somewhere along the line, the people realize just how important the arts are to the culture of the community. And I love that more and more smaller towns are appreciating that. And so I love that. So moving into talking about the theater itself, Red Carpet Community Theater has been operating for roughly 60 years.
Yes.
Under the Theater Guild of Elk City.
Yes.
Founded in 1966, and has remained a central arts institution in Elk City. You've hosted Oklahoma Community Theater Association Conference twice, 1994 and 2004. Pretty cool. So the theater's been around for 6 decades.
Yes.
I can honestly say that's older than all of us. What do you think has allowed this theater? Now, we're talking about we talked a little bit about the space we're in right now. Though this is an old church, right? Correct?
Yes.
Which I love. I love when I see community. One, I hate to see churches sitting empty.
Yeah.
But I love when community spaces like theaters can come in and convert churches into spaces of cultural entertainment. I just love it. So anyway, sidebar. So so what do you think has allowed this theater to endure for this long? Even through things like what we were just talking about, the COVID. Really it shut down many theaters across the country.
It did.
Many didn't survive with that. And there's several here in Oklahoma that almost didn't.
Yeah, I have goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Why are we still here? I guess because there's more of us. You know what I mean? Like every time, and we've talked about it, watching our new people come in, our new young group of people coming in, do shows and see that look on their face when they fall in love at the same time, in that same way that we all fell in love with theater. And that experience like you said, happens over and over and over again. You know, like we were doing Little Women, and it wasn't too far after we opened back up. And one of the young girls that played Beth, and she just fit the part because she was just that way. You could hardly hear her on stage. She was so unassuming and quiet. You should see that girl now. Years later. And it happens all the time. I mean, it has opened up her world. Just that moment on stage and that moment of falling in love with it. And she's not the only one. And there's handfuls of them all the time. And then now that we have our kids camp coming in and they are given that opportunity, you know, not to just have just that one part in a show, but also to learn the lights, set building and painting and anything else that you can do to fall in love with theater. There's more and more that get to have that experience all the time. You know, we're not alone.
I
just got to get in the building.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love it too whenever we have these kids camps and then you see their parents fall in love with it too. It's like their parents see like, oh, my kid is having so much fun. Like, what if I did that? And so every once in a while, like we just did 9 to 5, and we had a couple of the moms who have brought their kids to camp for the last couple of years audition for 9 to 5. And their kids weren't involved. You know, it's 9 to 5. It's an adult show.
Yeah.
And there's mom up there doing just killing it on stage. And it was just so fun to see that. And I love it when that happens too. It's like it's a family thing, and it's something that sometimes those kids camps open up to their parents too. And I love that as well. Because it's like that new generation coming in is what's going to keep it alive in 20 years. But if their moms come in, that's what helps keep it alive right now. And so I love that too. It's really fun. Some of them want to do sound. Some of them want to do lights. Some of them, again, want to paint. And then some of them get sucked up onto the stage and then they never leave.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's what I love is that, and we tell people this all the time. And when I talked with teachers and stuff, that's one thing that I hear from and echo to them as well, is that the theater has something for everybody.
Yes.
Not everyone is cut out or meant for the spotlight on stage.
Right.
You know, these sounds that you're hearing in the background, those are fit for those people that are more introverted. You know, they don't want to be the one that everybody's looking at. But yet they've got skills and they've got talents that can, you know, put some of us to shame. I always love to hear of theater departments and schools reaching out to the art department to pull in some of those introverted people that can paint and design their sets, you know, lights and sound, all that kind of stuff. And I love when theater organizations, like you said, feed that. You know, when they come to camp, you know, not everybody that comes to camp wants to get up and sing and dance, you know, but hey, we got a space for you too, you know, and they can learn. Somebody's alarm just went on. But yeah, and I love it when theaters want to take the time to teach those aspects as well. It's one thing to teach kids how to sing and dance. But my thing is, honestly, theaters that sing and dance are a dime a dozen.
Right.
Theaters that teach kids how to produce theater, those are rare. And I love it when I hear of organizations doing that. So thank you. So theaters that have been doing this for a long time, again, 6 decades, you know, over half a century, those usually come with traditions. They come with stories.
Right.
So what kind of stories or traditions that have gone on through this time still kind of linger today? Kind of traditions that you guys hold on to?
I feel like that's a question that's better for you. I mean, I know a lot of theaters do this, but I think that the cast coming through here and meeting up outside after the show every single time is something that feels unique to us because our stage is not separated from the audience really by anything but a couple of steps. And so I don't think I've ever been involved in or seen another show where the cast walked right through the audience after bows and walked right through this lobby and goes outside and lines up on either side of the sidewalk, and the audience is able to come through right then and shake your hand. You don't have to wait for them to get out of costume. You don't have to wait for like anything, you see them immediately after bows while the adrenaline is still high and everybody's really excited, and I love that. I think that is something that feels unique to here. Not that other theaters don't do things like that, but I think coming through the audience and people will stick out their hand for a little high five, or it's almost like a sporting event, sometimes, and it just feels unique. I think that is something that's very fun about here in particular. And I mean, I don't know if there's anything else. The thing is, I think too, is that this here in Southwest Playhouse are my two big experiences with community theater. And so if they do anything different than other community theaters, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about it, because those are my experiences. Sure. Those are the things that's the world I was born into. And so not to say that there aren't traditions, but it may be that it's so ingrained in what I know as community theater that I don't know that it's any different anywhere else, if that makes sense. Yeah. So it's, Circle Up is wonderful, and just making sure that, and our backstage is so small here that the camaraderie that you get in casts and the groupings together that we have, and those things feel unique, regardless of whether they actually are. It feels like they are in those moments.
Yeah. I think that they are. I mean, some more than others. It's amazing. Like when we just did Murder on the Orient Express, and what a great
show.
Great show. And we'd had a couple of rough productions. Quite honestly,
it was really challenging.
It was one that really tested just about everything I had after all this time. And doing Murder on the Orient Express, and I was directing before, and she was my music director, and we went through a rough one. And getting with that small group of people and that director, and it was just this magical group of people, and it was so healing. It was so healing. Gosh, I could cry thinking about it. I mean, it definitely is. It was medicine for me to continue on with my a few scars that I picked up.
I think what's interesting about that show in particular with Murder on the Orient is that, Poirot is on stage 98% of the time, and the rest of us are on stage for 25% of the time. Mm-hmm. And so we would have a lot of backstage time with different groups of us as we kind of rotated in and out. And we sat in a circle just off stage, and we talked to each other. And it was like a group therapy every night. Oh, wow. And it was just like, it was this like little family that, of course, you create a little family in every show, and they vary in dysfunction. But that one in particular was, we got to know each other. And some of us have known each other for years, but we got to know each other better, all of us in that show, because of those sections of 15, 20, 30 minutes where you just got to sit and hang out while Josh was carrying the show on his right and doing all those lines. And he would come in and he'd be like, "Hey guys," and then I would go back out on stage. And it was one of those things where it was really, that camaraderie in that show in particular was really special. And my healing show before that was Moon Over Buffalo. And it's obviously a very small cast, and it was very similar. We had where we had to put two shows in one day, which we don't normally do here, but we had a matinee and then we had an evening show, and nobody left. They all stood. We all hung out back there and ate food together and just hung out. And it's those relationships that you build in those 6 to 8 weeks that keep you coming back even after a show that tests everything that you love about the art. And it's, and that's one thing that I think sometimes we get caught up in, like the sunshine and rainbows of things after you have a success, or if, you'll talk to all of us who do community theater and talk about how much of a family it is. And that is absolutely true. But just like any family, there are occasionally times where you don't want to see each other's faces for a while. And that it happens. They're not all perfect. They're not all great experiences. You have to continuously get up and say, "I'm going to go back." And sometimes it's hard to do that. Mm-hmm. And if one thing that I've learned in the last year in particular, and Christy can attest to this, that I was on the very, very edge of burnout that I was just like, I just don't know if I'm going to do this anymore because I've just done so much in a short period of time. And taking some time away is still okay. You can still come back. It's going to be there. Community theater is going to be there waiting for you to join back in. And I'm so grateful for that. But it's also okay to take time away from it because it's healing, and it's also something that you give so much of yourself to. I think if you do it right.
Yeah.
You are giving a lot. It's a relationship of give and take as well. And so doing shows like Murder on the Orient, Men Over Buffalo, those beautiful small cast shows. Not to say that big cast shows can't be like that, but there's something special about those little casts.
It's a little harder for the bigger cast shows to make connections like that because you've got so many people there.
Yeah.
You don't have as much time to spend connecting with one person or getting that intimate with somebody. I don't say that in an inappropriate way, but but yeah, I think the smaller casts, I think, definitely tend to lead into that family connection. I know that talking much like the story that you said, the young lady that she was so shy. One of the shows that I did years ago, we had kind of a family connection. We did Miracle.
Oh, what a good show!
I loved it. I
want to do that.
One of my first lead roles, getting to play Helen Keller's father. It was a great show. We had a young man that came and auditioned for the show. Didn't get a part, but he decided to kind of hang around and be part of the backstage crew. He's very quiet, very shy, kind of hung off in the shadows. That was 2 years ago, a little more than 2.5 years ago. The interesting thing is, just
oh no,
and there's the racetrack.
Yeah.
But just like a couple of weeks ago, he actually won the Kelly O'Hara Award, and so my wife and I have known him for 2.5 years now, and just see the evolution that has come through with him. He just performed at his high school, North Rock Creek High School, performed Newsies, and it was just phenomenal. And we're just like, that is not the same gig. But like you were saying, once you get in and it gets a hold of you, it's kind of like just about anything else, that once you find that thing, you want to be better at it.
Yeah.
You will ingest as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
But again, it goes again to what you were saying, that burnout thing. If you're constant, I liken it to, in a way, to, I guess, full-time ministry. If you are constantly pouring into people and not having something pouring into you, you are going to lose everything.
Yeah.
And so you have to take that time to get away from it, find something that's going to fill you back up, fill your artistic cup back up.
Yeah.
And so I commend you for that. And more people need to understand that it's okay to step back, have to take a break.
It is.
Hopefully I'll get one eventually, but
take a break.
So currently moving into today, how many shows do you guys do a year in a season?
We currently are doing 3 main shows. And then we have right now 2 kids programs in the summer, one for younger kids and then one for older kids. So the one that goes up this coming weekend is Alice in Wonderland Jr., and that's for our littles from, I think, like 6 to 11. And then Beetlejuice Jr. is coming up next, and that will be for our kids 12 to 18. And Bailey's running both of those programs, and that's wonderful. And then after that, we have Sweeney Todd, which Christy is directing, and we're very, very excited about. And previously we had 9 to 5, and then before that we had Harvey. So, which Harvey was one of the first shows that Theater Guild did. We actually have the original poster sitting right back there on the wall, which is pretty cool. And so we wanted to kind of go big for our 60th year. And doing 9 to 5 in Sweeney all in one season is pretty big, but it's very exciting. And so we do 3 big shows, 3 main shows, and then the kids program in the summer.
When does your season run?
Calendar year.
You just follow weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you guys go about selecting shows for your season?
Oh gosh, we all bring shows to the table and talk about them, discuss them, read them, and
one thing we're pretty passionate about is if we're going to do a show, then a board member, somebody has to have seen it, a version of it, or read the show. We want it to be where you're familiar with the show before we put it on. Because we've seen too many instances where you pick a show based on like a name or a synopsis or anything like that, and then you get the script and you're like, oh, this was not. And of course you get a perusal and all of these things, but like there's a point. And two, we have to think about our community of actors who we have available to us, and who is active currently. You know, we're not going to be able to do a show that involves a whole ton of men. Because as every theater is seeing in the whole entire world, we are lacking a group of men. You know, we have a really strong group of gentlemen, but it's not big. And we don't want to burn them out either by doing shows constantly that need them. So, you know, with 9 to 5 in particular, we wanted to do something that was a little more female heavy because we have lots and lots of incredibly talented women right now. And so that is something that we consider. And we also like to try and play multiple fields. We do comedy. We like to do drama. We like, as I said, to kind of push the envelope a little bit because we have this beautiful, intimate space. We did Chicago. We did Gaslight. We did, we did Bridges of Madison County. Like, we're trying to do things that aren't necessarily just what every other community theater is doing. And with varied success, I would say. And that's okay because we'd rather try and see how it goes, and challenge ourselves as well. It's art.
Mm-hmm. It is.
And
the audiences are changing. And,
yes.
And I'm not just in community theater and getting the audience to actually show up. They're changing everywhere. It's like, how do you bring in this different type of people, from people that used to buy, rent. What is the rentals in like Branson? What are they called?
Oh, like the timeshares?
And people don't do that anymore.
No.
Right? And people don't buy memberships necessarily anymore. They don't go to Tupperware parties anymore. People are different. And so how do we speak to these people and get them to come see us? What do they want to see?
Mm-hmm.
And how do they want to see it? I feel like myself, I don't personally want to buy a membership. I'll pay full price and buy a ticket at the door.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's how they are.
Well, sometimes it's easier to come up with $20 every couple of months than it is to come up with $200 all at once. And that's partially the society we live in right now, where everybody's strapped for cash. It's just true. And the economy is changing and society is changing. And how do you stay relevant? How do you stay... and you mentioned ministry. I mean, honestly, the church is going through something similar, right? How do you stay relevant in today's society? We just have a different portion of the community that we're trying to stay relevant to sometimes. But I mean, not that there's not overlap, and we want everyone to feel that there is a spot for them here. Yes. And so that is something, theater is a safe space. I think you can hear that in every single one of these interviews. Theater is a safe space for everyone. And that is something that's very important to us. And, but we also want to do fun things, and we want to do interesting things for our actors as well. It's not only about filling the seats, even though that's what keeps the lights on. It's about making sure that the actors are getting something put in their well as well, right? Like, they're not just giving, and they're getting something
that they want
to do. I hate it whenever you see a theater release a season and you're like, man, I don't want to be in any of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's unfortunate when that happens because I want to be involved. I want to be on stage, but sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to be in that.
Right.
And so we want to release a season where people are like, oh, that's cool. I want to audition for that.
Yeah.
So it's tough. But we have a great board who they want to come in and they want to pick shows that are good for the organization. And it's not just about what you want to do. It's about what's good for RCCT.
Right. And we're figuring that out.
Yeah, we're figuring it out.
So how do you engage with the community to find out those things, or what they want, what they're looking for, what attracts them? How do you go about that?
Yeah, there's a lot of conversations that happen for sure. There's surveys that we give out too, and we ask people on our social medias like, hey, we're going to be picking shows soon. What do you guys want to see? And of course, the vast majority of people are like, Wicked! And we're like, about that.
There's only so much we can.
Yeah, there's only so much we can do, and that one's not even available. And it's so funny because, of course, everybody is like, well, it'd be really cool if you did Hamilton about that, and it's so hard to say, but it's hard to say, hey, the rights aren't available for community theaters. Like, and some of these shows or some of these scripts that you would love to see, we just flat out can't do it legally. And so, we have to do things that are available to community theaters to get the rights for. And do we have the community of actors in order to do them?
Excellent. And, that bringing that up, one of the things, and I've noticed this over the last several years, like every year there's one show that is like everybody's doing.
Yep.
I noticed this past season, You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown was everywhere. I think I counted a dozen different theaters that were doing it. Well, I noticed this year, going into the seasons that were being announced, there's several theaters that are doing Come From Away, which is an amazing musical.
It is.
And my wife and I first saw that during the pandemic. We were shut down. We were watching, theater at home, and we fell in love with that musical.
Yes.
But again, going back to what you said, looking at your company of actors, that's a very, very powerful show.
Ambitious.
That they never leave the stage.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going from song to song to song, and they may leave to move a piece off or to change a costume piece, but they're right back on and singing. And I'm just like, if you don't have some very well-trained and very powerful singers, you're going to be struggling with that show. And so now there's a couple of theaters that have announced doing that. I know they've got the people to do it.
Right.
But I'm just like, man, that's ambitious. And I understand the rights just came available for it. So everybody's jumping on it. That's what's going to bring people to the theater. Again, it's got to be, in my mind, there's got to be a balance.
Yes.
In all of it. There's got to be a balance between straight plays and musicals. There's got to be a balance between dramas and comedies. There's got to be a balance between, all of this stuff, new versus old.
Yes.
Do we want to push the envelope? Sure we do. We want to bring culture to the community. We want to introduce them to new things. But if that's all you're doing, people are going to start coming.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's the thing. And I love to hear theaters that keep that in mind. And that's why I wanted to say, what are you hearing from the people? Are so many theaters, musicals are the thing right now. Let's put on as many musicals as we can, as the old saying goes, butts in seats. We want to draw people in. But at the same time, like you were talking about, burnout. If you're just forcing people to sing all the time, what's that doing here?
Yeah.
So
they're so expensive to produce. I mean, it's, of course, more people come see musicals. That's absolutely true. But straight plays are a lot cheaper to produce. 90% of the time, your casts are quite a bit smaller, so you don't have to costume as many people. You don't have to pay for music rights. You don't have to pay for music directors. You don't have to, it's the sets are usually
making about the same amount.
They really kind of do. And
at the end,
and musicals are so complicated. And I love musicals, but I'm a fan. I like to perform in them. I enjoy directing them. One of my favorite experiences ever in the whole wide world was directing Little Shop of Horrors. I love that show, and I had a great time doing it, and I was exhausted. And so were the people in it. And that's a small cast musical, but doing straight plays it's very approachable, I think, for community theaters to do straight plays. It's true that it maybe doesn't sell as well, but you're not going to spend near as much money on it. I mean, if you just look at the rights, we can do a straight play for about $700. We can do a musical for about $5,000. I mean, how many tickets do we have to sell in order just to pay for the rights of the show?
Right.
It's tough. It's tough.
It
And
is tough.
and we have a group of people here who don't want to do musicals.
Yeah.
Me.
I mean,
Yeah.
drama. I love drama.
I do too.
I love the drama. Give me drama.
See, and I'm a comedy person. I love comedy, and I don't sing and dance. So, I can pass the musical on to somebody else, but I love to go and watch a musical. It's good, So, yeah.
We've decided as a board, this year we're doing 2 musicals because it's our 60th season, and we decided to go big or go home kind of idea. But from now on, it will be 2 straight plays and a musical because we just can't. And we actually used to do 4 shows in a season, not including the kids program. But we just decided, as far as our actors having time for their own personal lives, our crews and our set builders and our directors. I mean, that's one thing that we've talked about a lot in board meetings, is the pool of directors is just smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Some of that has to do with the time commitment. Some of that has to do with just, it's hard. And it's a lot of work. It's stressful.
It is. And you're living here.
You just put up a cot. If there was a shower here, I probably would have just moved in during Wizard, right? Like, I mean, it's just one of those things. And that pool of people is not getting bigger. And so we have to have people who want to direct, and you also have to have actors and people who want to build your sets and come in and give their time, which is, of course, the most valuable thing that we have to give. And that is not becoming more available. And so we're downsizing a little bit,
Yeah.
because of that. And just for the health and mental health of our people, which is important, incredibly important.
So what would you say is something that Red Carpet does exceptionally well that you wish more people knew about?
I think that because of our size, that we get a really good opportunity to get that family feeling. Like, that's a comment that we get a lot. Because we're not big.
No.
Right.
And I don't know.
I think that we do intimate shows well here because of our space, because we have an intimate space. It's small. You feel very connected to the actors because they're right there. You can reach out and touch them if you're sitting in the front row. And I remember when I first started directing over here, we did Over the River and Through the Woods, which is one of my very favorite scripts in the whole world. Christy was in that show here, and I had directed that show at another theater, and that other theater is bigger. And multiple people had gone to see that show, and then they came here to see this show. And of course, it's a different show because it has different people in it. But they said, I loved this one more because of the theater, and it was so small, and I felt so connected with it. And so I think that connection between audience and actor, audience and show, is something that we are able to do here better than some of your bigger stages. I also think we kick butt with set design here. I really do. I think that we put some really, really incredible, interesting sets together here. One in particular I'm thinking of is like Arsenic and Old Lace. Wait Until Dark, we had an incredible set design. Moon Over Buffalo's set, of course, I'm incredibly proud of. And Wizard of Oz, I'm incredibly proud. Like, there are just these sets that have been made here that are exceptional, in my opinion. And we have this small space that we have to be innovative with, and it has made us be creative. And so when you walk in, I feel people are beginning to expect incredible set design here. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. And it's a character for me. I think set is incredibly important, of course. But
Absolutely.
yeah, I think that there are lots of things that we do well here, but that intimacy, and then our set design, and we have some really great costume designers here as well. And we have some dang talented people on the stage too. I mean, it's just, I think every theater probably says that, but by God, Western Oklahoma shows up sometimes. We have some really incredible people out here who just eat it up on that stage.
That's amazing. That's why I wanted to do this, because when people think about these outlying areas, when they think about far western Oklahoma, when they think about southern Oklahoma, when they think about Ponca City, they don't think about, wonderful theater.
Yeah.
That's not the first thing that pops into the mind. I'm hoping that through our efforts and everything, maybe we can kind of change that mindset a little bit. We want to take some of the stigma off of rural Oklahoma. That we're not all just cakes.
Right.
I mean, yeah, some of us still are, but no. But we have art and we have culture.
We do.
I mean, my God, we got big names that are coming out of Oklahoma going on to some New York and LA screens and things like that all the time.
Absolutely.
So there's talent here. So let's showcase it. Okay. looking forward, what's your long-term vision for Red Carpet? What do you hope it becomes in, say, the next 5 to 10 years?
Open.
Open.
No,
It's always a plus.
it's always a plus. We have so many big ideas for here. We're a board of dreamers, and we want to renovate a lot of this space. It's an old building. She has a lot of charm and she has a lot of problems. And we have plans for what this space in here, this lobby, can look like. We're in the process of getting a chair sample to raise money to buy new seatings for this space. We want to renovate our upstairs to have a place that's a little more VIP kind of feeling, balcony area for people that they can maybe enjoy a glass of wine or grab a beer and, watch a show. We want to build a big, beautiful new space for us to build sets in and store our costumes. Because right now we have a house that might fall down at any time to store a lot of our clothing in and a lot of our furniture. And we've taken almost everything out of it right now because we got to go in there and repair it.
Right.
And that's something that we need to work on. But we want to have this big, beautiful building, and all of these, there's like dollar signs just floating above my head right now as I'm talking about all of it. But we have so many big ideas to make it a more comfortable experience for both our patrons and for our actors and our crews, where it's a better space. We don't want to get rid of it. I love this building. I love the history here. I love that, the idea that this building was taken from its original place and traveled a couple communities over and then plopped right here where we're sitting, I think is really cool, and that we've made it work for such a long time.
Yeah.
Despite or maybe because of the limitations of the space. But we have so many big ideas of what we want to do to make it better, and while maintaining the history and the tradition of the space. But we want to do, we just want people to know that we're here. Yeah. It's part of it too. You go out in Elk City, it's a community of 14,000 people, and there are people right down the street who don't even know that we exist. And we want to become better involved in the community and in community events. We're trying to be better about doing those kinds of things. And so in 10 years or whatever, I would love to see that some of these renovations have happened. They may not be done, or at least started, because obviously all these things take time. I would love to see new seating in here in the next 5 years.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
Yeah.
I think that's the next big thing.
And we plan to build out a space for our handicap section because right now our wheelchair people are on a slant and it's very uncomfortable for them. And we want to fix that.
Yes, we do.
For them. We are working on that. And that's something too. We want to make it accessible. We want to make everything accessible to people both on stage and off stage so that they are comfortable and able to participate and enjoy theater as much as anybody. And I don't know, we have a lot of big ideas, and we're excited about those ideas. We have an incredible youth program that is growing every single year.
Yes.
And, we are excited about the possibilities of that. There's a lot.
Yeah.
So outside the seats, if money, volunteers, and time were no object, okay, what's one project that you'd greenlight tomorrow?
I mean, for me, it would be the storage building, the building outside, because it would be a workshop as well. It's going to, and our design includes an outdoor stage, which we don't have here, and so that would be something we would want. I would want personally, because it would free up backstage to be just for our actors. We'd be able to move set pieces. We could start building the next set before the current show is done.
Right.
Which would be like, I would just die. It would be so exciting.
It would. No, that is good.
Yeah.
Definitely increase the number of shows you could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're ready for the next one when this one ends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And have a safe space to put all of our beautiful antique furniture and our beautiful vintage costumes. And right now we just don't have that resource. And so having that for me would be
big.
Yeah.
We're bursting at the seams.
The other thing would be a light board, or not a light board, a light system, new lights and a new grid, and all that would be awesome. soundboard too. Everything. We just need a new bathroom. Need a new everything. But we work with what we've got.
We do. We do. I remember we had one bathroom when I very first started here. Woof. So this is better than just one bathroom.
That is absolutely.
I mean, there was the one in the back.
Yeah.
For the actors, and then there was one out here.
Jack and Jill bathroom.
Yeah, and so they did add on and added, so that is better, but that was a while ago.
Yeah.
So any business owners out there, you got some money that you want to make tax donations,
Yeah.
reach out to Red Carpet Community Theater. So
Yeah, that's right. You were a nonprofit. Yeah.
So, ladies, we're coming to the end of our time here together,
Mhm.
and I love to wrap up our interviews with a little bit of fun, a little bit of lightness, and have a little bit of fun with what we call our curtain call curveballs. Okay, these are a series of questions that we ask that are right off the cuff, off the wall, out of left field, whatever you want to call it. Not necessarily about theater.
Okay.
Okay. But they're just meant for the first thing that pops into your head. Okay. And you've been answering questions all this time, so certain things may not pop into your head. So, but we like to have fun with this, and it's a great way to wrap things up. So, if you're ready, if Red Carpet had a mascot, what would it be and why?
A raccoon.
A raccoon. Because we were doing Willy Wonka here.
Yeah.
And Bailey and I were up here very late painting things. And she says, Ashley. And I'm like, what? She's like, look. And I'm like, what? She's like, look over there. I'm expecting like a rat or something. And I look over and there's a little tiny raccoon face looking at us through the door.
Yeah, a juvenile raccoon.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a raccoon. And then I go backstage and there's another one at the top of these stairs. And then I look over here and there's another one. There were 4 raccoons in there. I have pictures of them. They were very cute.
Very cute.
Very cute little raccoons. And one of them was very brave. He got pretty close to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, hi. So I took pictures and I'm sending them to the board. It's, like 12 o'clock at night. I'm like, there are raccoons. So yeah, we trapped them and released them, but it was just one of those things like raccoons. We had some pet raccoons for a little while, living in the ducks.
If you had to replace your car horn with any sound effect, what would it be?
Oh.
Like, okay. Okay, for me, it would be that, like, have you seen the video of the goat and the goat? They zoom in on the goat and then the goat screams.
Oh, really?
You know what I'm talking about? It would maybe be that. I can't do it or I would blow out your microphone.
Screaming goats.
Screaming goat?
I know.
I think it would be hilarious.
You could do Kristen Chenoweth yodeling.
Oh, that would be good. That would be really good.
Yeah.
I like that one.
She's pretty good at it.
Yeah, she is.
If you could instantly master any artistic skill that you don't already have, what would it be?
Oh, I wish I could sing. I mean, I sing in musicals with the group, but I wish that was my gift. Like art, I can do paint and all that stuff, but I wish I was one of those people like her that just walk out there and just can sing and know it.
Okay.
I would love to be a really good dancer.
Oh, yeah.
I dance, but I dance and it's kind of funny. When I played Velma Kelly she did the choreography. That does not mean she was a great dancer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was more comedic than anything. And I'm not just, like, I would love to be a beautiful dancer. Like Gina. Gina is the most beautiful dancer.
Yes, she is.
She's just... It's just one of those things, or like Cassidy or Emma, and I'm just like, I want to look like that when I dance. It's so graceful and beautiful. Yeah. The other thing I would love to be really good at is portraiture. I cannot paint people to save my life. Cannot. I can paint just about anything else, but if I try to paint a person, they look real weird. And so part of it is that I don't practice, but I would love to be good at portraiture.
If you could outsource one daily task to a fairy god assistant, what task are you giving up forever?
Laundry.
Cleaning the bathroom.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one, too.
It's a terrible thing to give to somebody.
Yeah. No, if someone
This is a fairy, so there is...
Someone else could do my laundry for the rest of my life. I divorced the one that did that for me. Dang it.
He did your laundry.
He did do my laundry. Thanks, Brant. You're the best.
Ben, he best husband for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's a good husband.
That's so nice. Yeah.
What's your go-to road trip snack?
Okay, so if I have been able to go to a Buc-ee's, then I want to have their chocolate-covered pecans.
Okay.
It's like, and I love chocolate-covered pecans anyway, but Buc-ee's are just, there's something about them.
Tasty clean bathrooms, Buc-ee's.
They do.
You
didn't know.
Not exactly a road snack.
You did not know that this podcast was going to be about bathrooms, did you?
So if I didn't have to worry about what they were made out of, puffy Cheetos.
I love puffy Cheetos.
Love puffy Cheetos, and your
It's
fingers
true
all orange.
It's a mystery food, but
Yeah.
they do taste delicious. Yeah.
It was better when I didn't worry about that stuff.
That's true. That's true. What's a conspiracy theory that you don't believe,
Uh-huh.
but you kind of understand why people do it?
There is a part of me that understands why people don't think we landed on the moon.
I was thinking the same thing.
Like, I totally think we landed on the moon, but I also am like, I mean, fair. It is very far-fetched in a way.
It is.
It's just a tiny little guy up there.
Especially considering the fact that we did it,
Uh-huh.
that we've not
Never done it
anything
again.
since.
Yeah.
That's a little.
It is a little odd.
How did
It's
the
an
camera get there? And how did? There's too many questions.
Yeah, so
Maybe I believe that one.
maybe you do. Maybe you do. I believe that they landed on the moon, but I'm a little bit like, I get it.
Yeah.
I can understand why it would be doubtful for some people.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
What's the most chaotic thing that you've ever seen happen backstage?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Which one?
Well, when we were at Hobart and we were doing that fundraiser there, and Emma, she got tripped. She was doing like
She was doing Tracy for that one. Yeah.
yes, and she got tripped up in the curtains or something and came flying back. And I mean, there were windows lined up on the second floor of that theater.
She almost blew right through a window.
Almost.
She had hit the wall. And then
hit the
this
floor.
incredible woman
Oh,
gets herself up and shakes off and does her costume change and comes right back
gets
out
back on stage.
And so that was, I was actually not back there. I don't remember where I was. I think I was in the green room or something.
I was changing into my next costume, and Melissa was right there, and I remember watching Melissa run backstage towards her.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was it.
I gotta think about this. Well, it didn't really happen backstage necessarily. It was like an onstage thing. Noises off.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
Which noises off?
is it on stage? Is it off stage?
Yeah, but I mean, it
lots of
was.
chaotic stuff.
We had an audience that night, and so I mean, I know that there's probably a question there. What's the craziest thing you've ever had happen on stage? Well, this is kind of both for me. I go out there, and the phone that is supposed to be like through the window or whatever is tangled up on the couch. Like so much that I spent my entire scene untangling the phone, delivering lines, trying to get this phone undone, this cord. And I'm just like, this is fine. Everything's great. Everything's great. The other one is probably during Play That Goes Wrong. So which you just never know what's going to happen with that show in particular. But I remember I directed that show in Clinton, and they skipped over like 2 pages. Yeah, because it happens sometimes. And so there was no reason for the inspector to come over. They didn't call him. But it was like one of those things where I'm like running. We got to make sure that Riley knows that they skipped over 2 pages so that he gets there whenever he's supposed to. And I mean, there's a million stories.
Yeah.
There's a million stories. One of my this is not me. Can I tell one that I know the story, but I wasn't there?
Sure.
Because to me, it's funny. You might have been involved in this. Whenever the kid didn't come on stage.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Everybody loves Opal. I was
Yes.
thinking about that. Yes, he missed his entrance.
And he just decided not to.
And he just didn't come on stage. So there we are. Me and Mark Moyer and Jim Hull. And we are just batting it around, trying to figure out how to finish the scene. And then the lady upstairs who was dropping the floor that drops down because, it collapses. She's running up there getting ready. Everybody's trying to get in places to try to figure out how to cover for this kid. And she drops the floor ahead of time. And so there we are at intermission, and we're backstage changing costumes, rewriting the next part of the show to kind of, because what he did the audience didn't know it happened.
Yeah.
So we had to put it all in there
Yeah.
to make the show make sense.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love that story.
That
I'm
kid.
grateful
It was like everybody's off stage. Yankee. Getting onto that.
Why are you not on stage? Yeah.
What did you do?
So many things.
Theater's great.
Yep.
What would you say is the craziest thing in your purse, bag, or in your car right now?
The craziest thing?
I mean, it's crazy for some people, I guess. I mean, I have like 2 sets of golf clubs with a bunch of extra golf clubs. And then I also have like centerpieces for a golf tournament that I helped host yesterday. And I have, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like I have so much golf paraphernalia out there that it's a lot even for me right now. And what else do I have that's kind of weird? It's actually not as bad as it usually is. I usually have something really off the cuff because of a show, but I don't really right now. I had quite a few skulls in there for a while from Adam's Family stuff that has just been delivered back to me. And I'm like,
I don't think I have any odd stuff. I have a lot of stuff.
yeah,
Tools and
Sure.
essential oils and
yeah. We're not that interesting on that.
my bags from Sprouts,
That's not.
If you could delete one phrase from the English language, what is gone?
6, 7.
Okay. And we're done.
Stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I don't get it, which is probably why it exists.
it is what it is. That one drives me bonkers.
Why?
Because everybody says that. It is what it is.
Well, I mean, it is what it is.
The thing she would probably say for me, though, I say, you know what? If that's the thing that they notice, then the show sucks and we should all just go home. And she is like, I hate it when you say that. And I'm like, look, if this tiny little safety pin all the way at the back of the stage is the thing they notice, then the show sucks.
Show sucks. So we just go home.
I agree with that. Okay. So what is something outside of theater that you totally geek out about?
I have a lot because I'm really nerdy. Like, I mean, I love anime and I love movies and I love film and I love golf. And there's a lot of really random kind of things that I enjoy.
I am nerding out about information about cows
That's interesting.
and how to, I know, right?
Never expect that.
And how to feed cows with healthy ground and grass without spraying it to death.
Do you raise cows?
My father-in-law has a small herd, and they're at our house like off and on throughout the year.
Sure.
And there's a whole world there of having these animals and them eating more naturally without having all of the chemicals on the grass and having a natural ecosystem and not overgrazing your land.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole, I'm really geeking out about it. I love those videos. It's interesting to me.
I like watching those guys who trim cow hooves too. I watch that on repeat often. Yeah,
my husband.
I just get like caught up on those. So, of course, I grew up on a farm, so it's like.
See, me, I'm into the little stop, or no, not stop action, but the high speed videos where the guys are trimming the yards for free.
Yeah. I just watched a really good one earlier.
Just the sound of the trimmer going the whole time he's doing that, I could just get lost.
Don't you love that?
I do.
I mean, I love what they're doing, but just so
Yeah.
seeing the progress is just amazing
It's
stuff.
very satisfying.
Ladies, thank you for your time. Thank you for agreeing to be a part of this. We appreciate it. I love the story of Red Carpet Country, and I appreciate you letting us come in here and sit and hear the work or noise of the theater. But yeah, I appreciate you being a part of this. I really do.
Thank you for having us on your podcast.
Absolutely. If people were wanting to follow you guys, learn more about you guys, how do they do that?
We have a Facebook page, Red Carpet Community Theater. We also have an Instagram, and we have a new TikTok.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
Cool.
Yeah, we are so cool. And then we also have a website that's www.rcct.org. And so a lot of the information can be found there. And so, yeah, come find us, come follow us on our socials. And we have some incredible people doing really fun stuff on our social medias right now. And they're having a good time, I think.
They are.
It's pretty fun. And Alice in Wonderland Jr., the tickets go on sale for season ticket holders tomorrow and go on sale for everybody else on Tuesday. So, and they will go very fast.
Very fast.
How do people get those tickets?
They go to our website, and there's a link to our ticketing website from there.
Awesome. I will make sure that those links are in our show notes for this episode. Again, appreciate you for being a part of this. Thank you for your stories. Love it. And look forward to hearing more from you guys. For everybody else listening at home, thank you for your time as well. Thank you for allowing us to come into your car, to your homes, your office, whatever it may be, and spending a little bit of time with us. We appreciate your support. If you want to follow us, again, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of the platforms for the podcast. You can also find us on our website, oklahomaonstage.org. If you have any comments or questions, you can email us at oklahomaonstage@gmail.com. We appreciate all of your support, but more than anything else, we ask each and every one of you to continue to support the arts.